Catching up today with South Carolina commit for the class of 2024, offensive lineman Blake Franks. And Blake, unlike a lot of these other players that we're catching up with, Gamecock fans have got to know you very well lately since you are one of the recent Gamecock commits. So we won't spend too much time in terms of looking back and, all right, why you committed to South Carolina. If you want to see that stuff, head on over to Gamecock Central. Wes Mitchell did an outstanding job, and Blake shed a lot of information about the commitment process. But let's go back to this past weekend, spring game. You're there. Just explain from your perspective what that atmosphere was like as a commit.
I definitely like the South Carolina atmosphere. It's a very breathtaking atmosphere. Like, the fans really love the school. The game, spring games for me are a little weird because, like, who are you really like cheering for? But the game in general, I just like watching football, so I had fun watching the game.
But just seeing all those people there, though, I mean, that was something, though, especially on that
Yes,
home side. It seemed like it was like a home game. I mean, it really did seem like a game in the fall with all the people there.
Yes, sir. It was definitely surprising because it's just a spring game, so you never really think that you're gonna see that many people there. But they showed up. They just wanted to cheer on for South Carolina.
So, what is a day like that for you? Because obviously you're committed. Nothing's official until National Signing Day.
Yes, sir.
But I know a lot of the recruits came through the weekend. I mean, can you kind of share what this past weekend was like? I mean, you visiting with some of the coaches? Are you talking with some of the commits, some of the current players? I mean, kind of give us like and I know it might seem like it might sound boring, but a lot of fans would probably be like, oh, that's pretty neat because we don't get to see that other side of it.
This weekend was like kind of a different weekend for me because not only am I talking to coaches, but I'm now talking to recruits. I'm trying to get them to sign as well. So it's a little different. Fans knew my name this week, which was kind of weird. Like, I don't expect fans to really know who I am. I'm the offensive line guy. But, people love South Carolina, so they keep up with anything South Carolina-wise. Got to talk to Shane Beamer. I think I talked to him at the end of the game, though. But it was cool to really get to mix up with him as well. He's a really cool coach, in my opinion. He's kind of more of a hands-on coach, is what I really like about Shane Beamer. Coach Teasley, so chill coach off the field. On the field, I'm pretty sure it's a lot harder, but I haven't really got to experience that part yet. And Sam Survey's been like one of the best recruiters so far, in my opinion.
Yeah, Stamsey's busy, man. That's for sure. That's no question about it. You mentioned about the fact now that you feel like that recruiting cap's on you a little bit more, because I'm sure you had talked to players before, but now that it's official, now that you are going to South Carolina, I say official again, we know that you have to wait till National Signing Day. How has things changed for you since you made your commitment public? I know that you committed a while back, but how has the recruiting picked up for you in terms of reaching out to players and hopefully trying to get them to be part of that 24 class with you?
Well, I've had to talk to more players, like a lot more recently. It's been kind of weird because, like, I'm trying to slowly put on that hat instead of just like straight on put it on. But I've had to just be more hands-on with the whole entire like media thing and talking to people in general, which is not my type of thing. But I've been trying to do it slowly and just like take my time as like being a part of South Carolina.
Now, you're doing a good job with it. And I went back, we listened to some of the interview that you did with Wes Mitchell. And I mean, that's the thing. You mentioned it. When you arrived here this past weekend for the spring game, you have fans knowing who you are, even though you are an offensive lineman. The offensive lineman, it's a dirty job. And some people don't get the credit that they deserve. But Gamecock fans certainly know who every player, including the offensive linemen, are. So I say that, Blake, because, you look ahead to where you are today compared to, let's go back a little bit. You made the commitment and it was a private one or a silent commit. What was going on during that time period? I mean, how difficult's that? Because I'm sure you have people hitting up your phone wanting to know what's going on. I'm sure the recruiting has picked up now in comparison to that? Because kind of like in poker, you don't want to show your card probably as much, right?
Yes, sir. I try to stay quiet about it. You know, there's like there were like a recruit people trying to get me to interview me for like everybody really. I'm just like ignoring text messages, trying not to spoil anything, and just trying to get the I'm trying to get the video to be how I want it to be.
Mm-hmm.
Ended up I told my mom and then told my coach, and then he told a guy,
Justin King.
uh sir. I
Justin
think,
King.
yeah, and he told him, and then he kind of like already said, hey, he's committed on Friday. He's gonna announce his commitment on Friday, and I was like, ah. When we went down there, he told me exactly what he wanted, exactly what I told him exactly what I wanted to do, and he told me what he wanted to do, and we kind of just mixed up, and he made a cool video. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed they sent me two actually. The first one I also enjoyed, but the second was crazy.
Second was crazy, and I know we'll talk with your soon-to-be teammate Josiah Thompson. He had that AI video. I think AI. I'm thinking in my head that commitment video, but we saw the one with you too, Josiah Thompson. You have some other. You have Cam Pringle. You have all these offensive linemen for the state of South Carolina, in particular offensive linemen. How neat is that to be part of that group coming in here, knowing that okay, it's offensive linemen, but these are guys from your home state. That has to be a pretty cool feeling.
Yeah, it's definitely cool. And in the back of my head, I'm like, I know we're the best in the state right now, based off of just offensive linemen. But when we get to South Carolina, I know we can be the best in the nation. Just my full blown opinion.
And is that just based on what you've got to see from some of these guys as well as the coaching? I know you've said you've got to talk with Lonnie Teasley a little bit.
Of course, like I think we have one of the best coaches that soon to be one of the best coaches in the nation. And I know that we have one of the biggest potentials out of like any school, any offensive line coming in right now. So
Let's switch it up a little bit because, like you said, the whole talking thing to the media, it's still new to you. I think you're doing a great job though. But let's talk about some things that I know you love outside
all right.
of football. You were telling me from a cooking standpoint, it's coming along. You said your go-to meal. You said you'd probably be a burger. You said if you had to cook up something. Is there anything else other than a burger?
Uh I can make like I can make you a grilled cheese. uh yeah, but I'm used to making burgers. That's usually what I make. I can make French fries, you know, something simple really. My mom told me how to make a banana pudding one time, which is like one of my favorite desserts. Uh just a few things to like name. I know how to stir fry a little bit.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well, I say all this, and I'm sure once you arrive to South Carolina, they're going to get you right with that nutritionist, and they're going to be able to make sure you have X amount of calories. For you, though, and I got to see you for the first time in person during the spring game. Big dude, tall, you're a big dude, man. Have you always been bigger? When did you kind of have that growth spurt?
Well, I've always been like a heavy guy, but like I kind of got my growth spurt like in middle school. I say that's when I really started growing.
Did you play any other positions, or was offensive line kind of that position?
Offensive line was the main position I played. When I got to sixth grade, that was like probably the last time I stopped playing basketball. I used to play basketball because like my whole family, besides me and my brother, which my brother plays at Norfolk University,
Mm-hmm.
my whole family is like basketball. Like we kind of stand out compared to the rest of them.
You gave up basketball. Just wanted to focus on what
Well,
went into that
football is my
decision.
passion.
Yep.
Basketball was just something I kind of grew up with.
And we were talking before too, and everyone knows, or a lot of people, I should say, a lot of Gamecock fans know that you have that nickname, Blizzy. How'd that come about?
My dad, when I was younger, he used to call me Blizz because he said I was like a blizzard growing up, kind of hard to handle, but like I was quiet, so it was just like I get into things that like you would just like not think I was doing because I just sneak around. But Blizz is just something I got. I don't know how that exactly happened, but he just said, you're just a Blizzard growing up, so that's the name I got.
So it has nothing to do with DQ, nothing to do with Dairy Queen.
No, sir.
But I'm sure people assume that though when they ask you, right?
Yeah, they assume that, I think.
You have to have though a favorite Blizzard at Dairy Queen though. Is there any?
Uh
I don't know if there's a lot of DQs up in Greenville though.
yeah, there's like I think there's only one, and that's in Malden, so it's near me. I live in Malden in the Greenville area,
Mm-hmm.
but I think my favorite would probably be Snickers.
Okay, there we go. There
Yeah.
we go. And you were telling me too. Did a little drums back in the day.
Yeah, I used to be a band kid all the way up until ninth grade, and I stopped playing. Tried to focus on football.
I was gonna say because there's been football players, and I didn't realize this till I got into the South. I was working in Mississippi. I've worked here. I've seen football players at halftime go out and be part of the band too. Was that ever a thought process for you? You're just like, nah, I just want to focus on football.
Nah, I just wanted to focus on football.
So moving forward for you, you can breathe a little bit. You can breathe a little bit. You make that commitment. How important was that for you to be able to get it done before your senior season? And did you always feel like it was going to be done this early in the process? When I say early, of course, meaning, um, before we got into, the summer.
I know I wanted to do it before summer because I'm planning on graduating early. I think a lot of people nowadays learn that it's probably better to graduate early. But I wanted to hurry up and commit because I wanted to focus back on what made me good, what made me great, and just get back to my fundamentals and just offensive line. Because I'm not just preparing for my senior season. I'm preparing for college. So I just need to focus on what makes me good, what makes me great. Focus on what I'm going to play in the next level, and then just go from there.
We've heard from Dante Reno. I've talked to some other players too in the past when they do know that they're going to be enrolling early in January. For you, it would be obviously January of next year. What's that feeling like right now? Does it feel like you're playing kind of this sped up game in terms of like, all right, I'm heading into my final year of football. I got school, but is it a weird feeling right now?
Sometimes I feel like that. Sometimes I feel like it's kind of like rust, and I get kind of like nervous. But then I have to realize that it's just like this is something I really want. So either you just sit down and you just let everything run you over, or you just get up and just keep pushing.
Not going to be too far from home though.
No, sir.
You gonna be making some trips back, you think?
Maybe a few, but I think I'm trying to focus in like where I am. I think I'm definitely gonna come back home because this is where like my life is right now. But I'm also trying to build a life at Columbia and try to build relationships with the team and just make everything just like click for me,
Well, Blake, I say that because I didn't know if you're gonna get the home cooked meal from the family, if you're gonna have to go back and get it. What's that one meal? What's that one meal you think you're gonna be missing?
Man, I think I like pot roast. That's got to be my favorite home meal. Pot roast and some cornbread with some green beans. That's got to be my favorite. That's got to be my favorite home meal.
Well, Blake Franks, we appreciate you taking the time, hopping on, and joining with us today on Gamecock Central.
Well, thank you for inviting me.